Welcome! So this is just going to be a really short video on how to stretch out through the bottoms of your feet. If you have any kind of foot pain, whether it's plantar fasciitis or your feet just get really tight or your legs feel tight or you get cramps in your calves, this can be super useful for you. So it will be so impactful in the sense that you can do just a few minutes, and I can't wait for you to feel the difference. We'll do 1 foot at a time on how to stretch the bottoms of your feet. And so the reason that we do that is when you have really tight constriction through the bottom of your foot, it actually hooks into just not only the entire back side of your body, but it's gonna affect your entire body. If you've ever looked into reflexology, you know that all of our nerve endings are in our feet. We have so many nerve endings in your feet. So when the bottom of the foot gets so constricted and tight, it can affect a ton of different areas in your body. So I'm really excited to show you this. All you need is 1 tennis ball. Let me get these out. Oh, I got one. Okay, so I actually might need more than 1. I think I'm gonna go for 3. You definitely only need 1 though. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is just feel our feet. Get your tennis ball handy for later, but just stand with your feet hip width apart and spread your toes wide. Actually, before you even do that, just kind of stand normal, see how it feels. See how tight or not tight your feet are. Good. Now you may not feel anything or notice anything in particular. It might just feel like normal to you. Now we'll start with 1 foot, and actually before we get too far into the stretches, I want you to just feel the bottom of your feet stretch naturally without the tennis ball. So see if you can, oh thank you for joining. See if you can take your feet hip width apart, and now press pretty even through the back and the front of your feet. Pick up all of your toes and spread them wide. Now already if you're spreading your toes wide, you might feel a stretch through the bottom of your feet or maybe around the toes or the ball of your foot. That's good. So we're already getting a little bit of a stretch here. Now root down through your big toe. So imagine if it's your thumb, I'll just give this for a better example. You're really pressing through that thumb, that big toe, and then stretch the little toe as far as it goes over. And now you might feel a deeper stretch through the bottom of your foot. Good, now hold this. And just kind of pay attention to how it feels. You might feel tightness, you might feel constriction, it might feel painful if you've got the plantar fasciitis. Just notice. And then relax your feet, stand normal, shake out your legs a little. Take your tennis ball, and you're gonna put it underneath one of your feet. We can start with the right if you wanna do the same as me. And you'll just start right around the big toe. It's funny, I have an audience. You'll start at the big toe and just kind of lean in and out of it. And you can put a lot of pressure on it. The tennis ball shouldn't pop. Usually you can do this for months before it pops, unless you have a bad tennis ball. But just press, starting right at that big toe mound, and you're gonna press all the way across, kind of at each toe. You're just gonna be pressing all the way across. And then once you do a couple passes through the arch, this is also a video on dog training. Once you pass all the way across the toes, Lucy, you can start to massage through further along the bottom of your foot. So you'll start going across the arch, and then you'll start going down through, across the ball of your foot, and then you'll start going down the arch. And you're doing the same thing where you're pressing just back and forth, and just do 1 foot at a time, because we want to be able to tell the difference in the other foot. But you're doing a pretty consistent back and forth. If you really want to get into it, you can even match it with your breath. You take a deep breath in, back off, exhale, push down, breathe in, back off, exhale, push down. Feels really good actually. Breathe in, back off, exhale, push down. And so once you go through the arch pretty well, then we're going to do the outer side of our foot. So we're waiting to do the heel last. So start at your pinky toe. This video is ridiculous with the dogs, but I really love them and I don't really want to make them wait outside. So they're here. There's some extra entertainment. And then, oh gosh, this feels really good. So keep going down all along the pinky toe edge. You can even go back up. You can kind of use your intuition. I was going to go all the way to the heel, but my intuition wanted to go all the way back up across the ball of the foot, back down through the arch. Lucy is very confused why this isn't for her. And now into the heel. So as you start pressing into the heel, again, whatever feels good, just move around all sides. You can do this for as long as you want. We're just going to do a few more presses. Lucy, you already had a ball. You've had 2. Where are yours? All right. Let's do a couple more wherever feels good. Press in, press out. I could do this for hours. Okay, one more. And then if you have dogs around, maybe claim it. You're gonna just stand feet hip width apart and just notice how the bottoms of your feet feel. Now it might feel like the foot that we just massaged with the tennis ball is a little bit wider and kind of softer. Just notice how it feels. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. So whenever you're doing any kind of self-massage, we can start on the other foot if you want to put it down underneath. And starting at the big toe, start to press. So whenever we're doing any kind of massage, whether you're going to get a massage or we're doing a self-massage or doing foam roller or partner massage or anything like that, your breath is going to be a huge catalyst for the shifts you feel in your body. So we store emotion in our body, and if you read, which I'll link below, there's a blog article that I wrote that discusses a little bit about the emotions that we can store even in our feet. And when we do have these emotions stored in our feet and in our tissues, this can be a big reason, you know, we feel stress and then our body tenses up. We know that happens. We get nervous or have anxiety about a speech that we have to give, and so we feel like we're gonna throw up, or we feel that pit in our stomach. So we know that our emotions will relate to physical problems, but it can be in your muscle tissue as well. And so when we are doing a massage, if you notice your therapist, or even me right now, says take a really deep breath in, deep breath out. This is because it helps let go of the stress that's stored in that tissue. So when we're physically working it, sometimes you'll feel, for example, if you've ever been in half pigeon pose, a really deep hip stretch in yoga, and you just start to get really frustrated or angry, it's because any emotions stored in that physical tissue are coming up and out. So when we take the deep breath, it helps to clear it. Isn't that right, Lucy? I think you have some stored emotions. Breathe and just press all around. You've already gone through all across the ball of your foot. You can start to go down the side, pinky toe edge, pressing in. Or you can start by the arch, go in there. If it's really, really painful, you're not going to want to press in too hard. Just do gentle massages. But if it feels good, you can go as deep as you want. For a massage, pressure is so relative. If it feels good and you can stay relaxed during, that's perfect. If it makes you tense up further, if it's painful, it's going to send a signal to your brain, and this works for any kind of deep tissue massage, whether you're doing with a tennis ball or you're on someone's table. If it's too much pressure for you and you tense up in your body, it's going to send a signal to your brain to add more tension. So we always want to make sure we have relaxed shoulders, relaxed jaw, relaxed mood if possible. And the more you do this, it should relax your mood. Massage is nice and calming for the nervous system. So win-win. Isn't that right, Lucy? Good. Couple more. All right. And then just stand. See how it feels. Now my left one feels softer and more open. So you can remove your tennis ball one way or another. Come down to hands and knees. All right. So just your normal cat-cow. Tuck your toes underneath. You can even pick up your, it's hard to get your toes really far tucked under. You can pick up your leg and see if you can bring your toes forward and then slide them back so that all your toes are tucked under. Now you may need to stay here. Stay wherever feels okay for you. But we're going to sit back on our heels. So we're putting more pressure into the bottom of your feet. And remember, especially if you have plantar fasciitis, it might be really, really tight and it might be a little bit painful. So you can keep some weight in your hands and you don't need to go back so far. Just go wherever that threshold for the stretch is for you. Otherwise, if it doesn't bother you, check that your pinky toes are forward and slowly come on up. And if you want to go a stage further from here, toes are tucked. Walk your knees a little bit forward. And then we're just going to breathe. So this will stretch out the entire bottom of the fascia of the foot, which will help loosen up the entire fascia through your back body and even into your front body a little bit. So your fascia is like this big web, if you look at it, it looks like a very thick spider web, just this mesh, and it goes over your entire body. Another thing that you can do, make sure you stay really, really hydrated. The more hydrated we are, the more fluid and flexible our fascia will be. If we get dehydrated, it can constrict. Same thing with stress and tension, it can start to constrict. Speaking of constrictions, you may start to feel the front of your shins fire up. If you have weakness in your lower legs, the muscles that are attributing to this will start to fire up and strengthen. But again, as long as you can breathe deep, stay relaxed, that's how you know it's all right. When you start to tense up, it's too painful, then it's too much, and back off a little bit. Stay for 3 more breaths. Finish your exhale, and then coming forward again, hands and knees. Untuck your toes, just bend your feet back and forth, give them a little break. You can roll your ankles. Once upon a time, I used to have a whole basket of nice, beautiful, clean tennis balls that I would use for therapy balls, and now I have dogs. Okay, so from here, one last exercise. Let's tuck your toes, come up for your downward dog. You can walk your feet forward. If you've got low back stuff going on, make sure you bend your knees pretty deep. Squeeze your glutes, come up however is comfortable. Shake around your feet. Again, just feel how they feel. You might feel a little bit more tight because that last stretch we did was quite deep. So if you need to, you can do another run through on your tennis ball, however feels good. And then the very last one we're gonna do is a mix with strength. If you want a little bit more strength, you can check out the next video I'll link, which is all about building that good strength in your feet so you can stretch all day long and it will help. But if we don't have the foundational strength through our feet to keep us upright, to keep us supported, to keep us pain-free, then the stretching is not going to be as effective as it could be. Ideally, you want to balance really healthy strength with the stretching. So this next one is a nice combination of both. You're going to take your feet a little bit wider than hip distance, turn your toes out, just your nice classic squat. If you don't have the flexibility to come all the way down, you can put your back on the wall or you can sit your butt on a yoga block. But especially if you are still working on stretching, you might just be here, and so this is when it comes into a nice stretch. If you can't quite get your feet down, don't worry about it. You can hang on to a dog, a chair, whatever you need to do, and then slowly work on getting your heels down. You can even, I don't know what could be out in front of you that you grab onto to help keep you upright. Once you do get down, whether you're sitting on a yoga block or not, heels are going to reach for the ground. Lift your heart up, press your elbows out, and let's just hang out here for a few breaths. Next breath out, put your butt down. Right, we're going to do one last exercise. Soles of your feet together, knees fan out. Go ahead and open up your toes. And if you want a little extra credit, you can just use your thumb and start to dig into the tissue between your toe bones, between your foot bones. I guess not your toe bones, but between your foot bones here. Right on the ball of your foot, you're just going to massage back and forth and then start to go down, pressing in however deep is comfortable. And for your thumbs, so it doesn't end up hurting your joints, what you can do instead of keeping, see this bend, that's going to hurt over time. But if you want to stack, get a nice straight line and just kind of lock your joint, and then you can use your whole body weight. Nice little massage therapist tip for you. You can do that with both. Start to press all the way in. If you ever want to get a little bit of lotion, it might help. Oh, I don't even need lotion. Depends on how dry your skin is, I guess. Slide it all the way up. You can do this through your whole foot. It's really good to do after a massage, after a shower, because your skin will be nice and warm from the shower. So after a bath or a shower, the heat really, really helps to get into the tissue, especially if you do walk barefoot, which I highly recommend. You will build up a little bit of tough skin, which is good and okay, helps avoid splinters and rocks, but it can be tougher to get into the muscles then. So heat helps soften that a little bit. However feels good, maybe squeeze your heel. I always like to do kind of like this shaped thing on the heels, especially with plantar fasciitis. It hooks into right here, and you'll start to get pain all the way through here. And then switch to the other one when you're ready. You can even pause and feel your feet. Left one feels a lot more soft now. And then same thing. If you don't have the flexibility to open up your knee wide, you can grab a friend, partner, and see if they're up for switching foot massages. It's a really, really wonderful practice. And like we talked about earlier, there's so many nerve endings in the feet, so many nerve endings, that this will impact your entire body. So you can go through really, really slowly. You don't need to know the reflexology points. And as long as you're hitting everywhere on the foot, you'll affect change everywhere in the body. So you can do this as often as you like, especially if your feet hurt. I would go for a couple times a week, see if it starts to make a difference. Let me know, comment below if this was helpful and what other things you would like to see little therapy videos for. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Hope it's relaxing.